the snakes in Kundalini, what is it about that, you know, story behind the energy of rising, the snake rising? Could you tell us about that?
Well, I mean, we all have the serpent energy inside of us, and that is always, you know, referred to as a Kundalini, as the coiled snake that sits at the base of our spine, that rises up through the chakras, piercing each chakra, enlightening each chakra, allowing the energy to open and then come up to the crown, where you see some of the symbology of the cobra at the top of the head, which is the symbol of the opening of the crown, the enlightenment.
Like
so that,
Shiva.
yeah,
basically.
absolutely. So Shiva being the example that we all know. Many reasons really why Shiva has a snake. One is to depict his lord of all animals, all beings, also that he's transcended, and because snakes often depict the spirit world. Obviously they hold poison as well, so he's so at peace and at one with everything that because he wears the cobra. He doesn't wear these little ones.
No.
Yeah, he wears the cobra, which is obviously one bite in your history, as they say. So obviously that is to show that he has mastered the physical dimension and the etheric dimension as well. And I think with the serpents and how they work with people and their Kundalini energy, I think generally people have got a fear around snakes, and that is to do with a few things. Energetically, death fear, which we all have. We all know it's going to happen at some point in our life, and a serpent it really confronts that in us. But, you know, a lot of people will just say to me, "But can it kill me?" You know, that's the first thing they say. But can it kill me? Can it eat me? And it's like this big. Yeah. Clearly, it won't fit you in there, but it's instinctive in our heads because their brothers and sisters can. Some of them are very dangerous. So I think it brings up those feelings of death fear. It brings up feelings around sexuality, because they can be quite phallic, and they're also the symbol of fertility and the female power. So I think that's another issue that humanity has quite a lot of issues with, that the serpent will provoke a somatic response, and like you don't even know why you're having that response, so you know, but it brings it up. And then the spirituality, the false spirituality, being, you know, the biggest thing that they carry around with their karma is all the bad press that they've received from the Bible story, you know, which is, you know, open to interpretation, you know, and has been interpreted in a negative slant for serpents. So I think it brings up a lot of issues to do with religion and spirituality as well. So those three things is really I believe the three things that humanity has most issues with, you know, sexuality, death, fear, and false spirituality. So I think with that, coupled with the fact that they are a symbol of the energy that is living within each and every one of us, I think, you know, it's only natural that there would be a relationship between working with your Kundalini energy and working with serpents. Yeah. And just yawned for you there. Am I boring you? I'm so sorry. So I think that the combination of the two gives people the idea of being able to sit with their own energy by sitting and meditating with a serpent. That is literally what humanity needs to do, because we just don't sit still with ourselves, and serpents are always sitting still. This is really active for them, you know. They will sit still unless they're digesting, or, you know, they only move for a reason. So they're master meditators. Yeah. So I think from the point of view of the Western world, we can learn a lot from them, you know. It's about just sitting and being in our power, in our grace, in our silence, and in our Kundalini energy. So I think there's just a natural connection between the two anyway, and you know, I feel that this is their path really. It's I'm just facilitating for them. You know, they're snakes in the city. You know, they're working with their own magic. You know, definitely. And I just feel really honoured to be a part of that process for them, and for me, just to have them be rescued and then come and meet beautiful people and exchange beautiful energy and the healing energy that people feel from them, I mean, you probably can speak for that yourself, definitely. You know, and people say, well, how do they heal us? How do they heal us? Well, they're natural transmuters. They're naturally transforming and transmuting energy all the time. Hence, they slide out of their skin when they've had a big meal sometimes, you know, they'll go into a shed and then they just rebirth. So they literally are giving us that gift of the natural transmutation, you know, they're absorbing out the negativity, and then when they shed their skin, they give it back to Mother Earth. So it's almost like, you know, they're teaching us what we need to be doing, and that's shedding our skin. You know, we still shed skin, exactly. You know, but much tinier, so we have that in common as well, you know, so we have a lot more in common with them than we actually exactly. That's true. You know, because we are one. Exactly. But I think if people can see that they are one with something so different and, you know, unique, then that really opens them up, and to be able to feel that energy of oneness in with everyone, you know.
Definitely.
So
definitely. And one thing I remember as well from your workshop, it's that you were telling us about the energy of the serpent and the dragon and growing wings and connecting to the spiritual world. So
yeah, so I really love the fact that there's so much symbology with serpents. So the Mayans, for instance, Quetzalcoatl, you see the ku, this seed sound of the serpent, Ku, Kundalini Quetzalcoatl. So whenever you see the ku, Kumara, that's the seed sound of the serpent. And so Kumara, for instance, which is what we chant to them, because it's the interdimensional serpents of wisdom mantra, if you like. Ku is the great serpent, Ma, great mother, and Ra, great father. So Kumara is basically bringing us to that point of balance within our heart. So we're marrying the earthly energies of the serpent, and then bringing the cosmic consciousness down, so that we're literally giving the serpent back its wings. So you see a lot of dragon mythology and the serpents represented in the Mayan culture, Quetzalcoatl, for instance, the plumed serpent. So the wings symbolizing that the serpent has evolved, it has transcended, it has become one with Source, with Great Father Sky, and is one with Mother Earth, because it's on the ground, quite literally. It's the closest thing to the earth that's living, apart from all the insects and so on. But, you know, so the fact that the two are marrying together, that's the symbol of enlightenment, is we becoming one with our higher self and marrying our lower self to meet in the heart, to open ourselves to unconditional love. So I think that energy of the serpent becoming the dragon is really a symbol for all of us as a symbol of enlightenment, if you like. So. And, you know, it's not the only place that we see it. I'm just rescuing her in case she wiggles down there. So, and it's not the only symbol of enlightenment with regards to snakes. You can see, you know, there's a lot of snake references in African culture. John Melchizedek, he talks a lot about the Serpent of Light, the energy of Mother Gaia being the spirit of the earth, being a serpent. It's a wonderful book if ever you want to read around the subject on the Mother Gaia's energy, the serpent power of Mother Earth. And there's also a fabulous book by Mark Amaru, which is also a really, really very deep book, and that's called The Return of the Serpents of Wisdom. And in that book, it's magnificent. He really collates all of the serpent references and brings it all into one book, where you can really go deeply into exploring, you know, all the different cultures, and the python priestesses and Egyptians, they always wore pythons in their crown, and I mean, you know, given half a chance, that's where these guys like to sit, is something. So they literally are sitting on the crown chakra to working their magic. So, you know, what I'm doing is ancient, actually. It's not it's not a new thing, but obviously in the Western world people think it's a new thing and it's a gimmicky thing, or it's, you know, people are calling it snake yoga, which is kind of not appropriate, because it just gives the impression of people dangling snakes around in all sorts of weird positions, where really all we're doing is meditating with them and getting into their spirit and their soul, you know, and on ourselves, you know, understanding ourselves as part of the all.
Wow, such an amazing work.